Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, SignalGrim here, and welcome to another video. In this one, I'm going to tell you pretty much what characters are worth maxing out in Injustice Mobile for the year 2022. We're going to mainly rely on raids and soul raids, because anything that does well in raids and soul raids can do well in Arena and Champions Arena, but it doesn't go the other way around. I'm going to try and make this one as free-to-play friendly as possible, in the way where if you got all the resources necessary to max out the Batman Who Laughs from 3 stars to 7 stars, by all means go ahead and do that. But for the free-to-play side of things, when you got limited resources at your disposal, you'd rather keep him at 3 stars, let's say, and then promote him later on, because you're not gonna get that much out of it. We're going to have a few tiers over here. We're going to have get, build, and promote, characters that you should actively pursue non-stop until I maxed out. We got get, promote, and maybe build. Those are characters that are going to need the high star rating due to their supporting purposes. You need their passive max out pretty much, but you're not going to necessarily need to build them as soon as the first tier ones. We got get characters, and those are going to be characters that are going to work well for the most part at lower star rating without being necessarily promoted, and are going to be pretty much future goals, some of them, but you don't need to pursue actively maxing them out that much. We got get if you can't here. Those are characters that you should get if you get the chance to get them, but at the same time you shouldn't go out of your way to get them. Next, we're going to have characters built if you got them or want to build them. Those are going to be characters that are going to be good enough characters that are going to do well enough for you, but you should really not pursue getting them at all. But if you happen to randomly get them, then you can consider building them. And this is the does not matter tier. First up, let's go with the. We still got 2 Martian Manhunter pictures in here. My bad. Let's get this dude. So this is going to be build if you want and got him. This is going to go well with the Sarabanshi team as a support character, but at the same time Reverse Flash works at 95% performance of Martian Manhunter pretty much, so there's no reason to actively pursue it. Atlantean Armor Aquaman also in this tier. This is not a must-have character either, but if you get him early on, you might want to build him a bit or make use of him for Arena and Champions Arena purposes. Ace Green Arrow, get if you can. This is a character that you're going to need to have, because it's a good character for fights where you need to reduce power, but at the same time you shouldn't go out of your way to get this character. It's got a challenge, just be patient with that, wait for that, and you might drop him from soul raids as well. Arkham Knight Batman, yet again, get if you can. This is a good character to set up stuns in league raids for Harper Harley Quinn, though really not mandatory, especially since Last Savage Joker is going to do a pretty good job. Again, this is not a tier list where I'm trying to rank the characters from which is best to which is worst. If you want to see that, you should check out my tier list on all characters. This dude does not matter, you're going to get him by default. This is gonna be get if you can. Atrocitus, you shouldn't actively pursue this dude. From actually, this is gonna be more like build if you want and got it, because he costs a lot from the league store, and it's gonna be the last of your priorities. And I actually never bought this dude from the league store. He's gonna be good to have, don't get me wrong, but he's gonna be expensive, and I'd rather buy XP capsules with that league credits. And I eventually dropped him out of league rates and soul rates all the way to max stars. Doesn't matter. I guess build if you got and want, not a must-have character, but a decent character. Get Bane if you can. He's gonna do some good stuff for you with his passive, buffing up characters, doesn't matter. Manta. Get, build, and promote. He's a great character. He needs to be high star rating. He needs to be built. Get, promote, and maybe build. This dude needs to be high star rating for his passive, but he for the most part does not serve an active role in the Batman Ninja team other than the passive, but you can eventually build him if you want to, though not in a rush. Batman Who Laughs is gonna be get for the free-to-play side of things, especially because he's gonna perform at pretty much 95% of capacity from 3 stars with no gears compared to 7 stars with full gear, so just get him. He's gonna do amazing for you, but just get him for now. This dude doesn't matter. Get, build, and promote Batman Catwoman, essential damage dealer. Get her and build her as soon as possible. This dude yet again is gonna be get More like on the get side of things, because yet again, he's not going to serve any active purpose in the Batman Ninja team. And unlike Robin, he doesn't really need to be high star rating, because you're gonna get a little bit of a better power generation out of him at higher star rating for the Batman Ninja team. But for the most part, he's gonna work just fine for you at 3 stars with no gears. Yet if you can, like she's gonna passively buff your Batman Ninja team just by being in your roster with the percentage of her base attack, but at the same time is not such a high value that it's worth actively pursuing. But if you can get her, if she's got like an arena invasion, just farm that. Again, this dude is not the best character in the game, but definitely something you could consider building, but not a must-have character. Get and promote and eventually build. Not that much of a rush on building him, but he needs to be a little bit tanky, but make sure you farm his challenge and promote him because he's needed to buff up legendary characters. Get if you can. Good character, not worth actively pursuing. Doesn't matter. Get, promote, and maybe build. This is gonna be like a very maybe kind of build type of thing, because this dude can act like a replacement for Manta until you get yourself a Manta. So you can build this dude. You should definitely farm his challenge, but do not gem refresh for it, though. So yeah, that's where Calico vs Superman stands. This is gonna be yet again get if you can. He's in the arena store as far as I remember, so make sure you get him from there. Or actually get and promote. This is gonna be needed for the defense reduction passive, and that skills with a star rating. So I guess it's actually worth. Nah, more like get if you can, because you should like. I feel like if it's in this tier, yeah. Let's also drop this here. Oh, this is kind of worth building. So in this tier, you should definitely get them, but you shouldn't go out of your way to get them, like going to opening chests and stuff. But yeah, definitely buy him on from the arena store. Get and promote. She's gonna need a high star rating to properly buff your team, and she's a good character worth pursuing. Just get this dude yet again, same thing as Batman Who Laughs, performs at 95% capacity from 3 stars, no gears. Doesn't matter. Build if you got and want him, no reason to actively pursue this dude, but if you get him, you might eventually want to build him because of the arena capabilities. Yet again, if you already got this dude, you might as well use him a bit. He does some stuff. Get, build, and promote at least to 5 stars for her, but eventually maxed out. She's a great character and an essential member of the League of Anarchy team. Actually, this dude is not gonna make it to this tier. We're only looking at raids and soul raids, and this dude really has no business there. I mean, his passive is somewhat useful, but not really. Doesn't matter. Get if you can. She's got the challenge, and you can farm that, and you might want to build her later on, so farm that. Doesn't matter. Get, build, and promote as soon as possible. She's gonna be a great character. Amazing damage. One of the... Actually, to an extent, the best damage there in the game. Get if you can. He might be somewhat useful for you because of his ability to kind of deny the dot damage that's inflicted on him. Get if you can again. Okay character is in the arena store, I think. I think he's still there. Get if you... Let's put this dude at get and promote because he kind of needs to be 5 stars to give the Justice League team the full capacity of his passive. This dude doesn't matter. Get, promote, and eventually build this dude. He's gonna be a support character for Justice League team as well. But you don't need to build him straight away. He will eventually need to be built, but make sure he's at least 5 stars. Because that's where there's big performance. Get, build, and promote as well. This is gonna be a very good budget damage there for new players. This dude is build if you got him already, because he's a good character, but it's simply not worth the resources that you're going to need to get him. So if you get him anyway, you might as well build him. Get if you can. Yet again, you might actually rush unlocking this dude for some fights from the League store, because you got a passive that does not allow hazards on the ground to power drain you, and that might be useful to you, and it's gonna be, in that regard, peak performance from 2 stars. Okay, this dude is gonna be, doesn't matter. Get build and promote can flank Sakura will most likely be your first and your best damage dealer for a while. So definitely a good character. Last of Joker, get build and promote as soon as possible. Mr. Freeze, get build and promote as well. He's not that much of a priority, but he's that much of a demand of him being built and being high star rating to perform well. This doesn't matter. Get build and promote yet again. Word building, good damage dealer. But yeah, might be a little bit rough to get. There's an arena season on the anniversary of Injustice Mobile where you can get her. Usually that's how they do it. It's somewhere in May as far as I remember. This doesn't matter at all for raids and soul raids. I mean, get her if you can, because I find myself using her sometimes in the soul raids where there's not that much health to clean up with the multiverse team, but at the same time I want to make sure my characters don't die, so I guess there's a purpose to that. Get built and eventually promote. I'm gonna pretty much put all the combo builders in this tier because you should get them, you should start promote them, most of them, and you should build your damage dealers first though, but you'll eventually need to consider that building them as well. Doesn't matter. You can build this if you want, I guess. She does some stuff. Doesn't matter. I don't know about this dude. He's either this tier here. Yeah, I think he's get if you can. Same deal as Arkham Knight Batman. He's like a little bit worse than Arkham Knight Batman in some regards, a little bit better. He's a better standalone fighter because Armor Piercing Special Line and also can act as a combo builder for Sarah Banshee. Get promote and eventually build if you want to, but she needs to be at least 4 stars to max out the passive. Those are going in this tier. Yeah, you can build this dude as well. There's an argument to be made there for Arena and Champions Arena performance, I guess. Raven, get, promote, and build. You're going to get a lot out of this character, the best character in the game by far. Get, promote, and eventually build. Like this dude's super move will extend the duration of the fight, scales with a star rating. You want him to 5 stars to get that peak performance out of it. So make sure you get him and promote him and eventually build him. You can build him as a combo builder for some stuff. Doesn't really matter. There's some niche use for this dude, but I'm not gonna regard it really. Get, build, and promote. She's got a challenge. You're going to get her from there. You can definitely gem refresh for that. Good damage dealer. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Dr. Fate. Get and promote. Again, same deal as Sparkle. He needs to be at least 4 stars to make the best use out of his passive. But at the same time, he doesn't really need to be built straight away. You will eventually want to build him. I have him built on both of my accounts, but not a priority. You need to prioritize damage dealers first. Doesn't matter. Get if you can. He's got a challenge. He gives some fast actions, so he's useful in some scenarios. For example, when you're using Sarah Banshee in fights where she needs to be in there alone, where there's like Chaos Tagging, and you let your other 2 characters die, and she needs to build combo for herself, because fast actions is not worth putting on her, but in those scenarios she kind of needs it. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Get, promote, and maybe build, but mainly promote this dude for his passive. It's gonna be very good stuff with the additional health that is going to give you. It's gonna very much give you a health barrier as you enter the fights. That's gonna be a very good health barrier because it also stops you from being staggered when you get hit. So good character to have a high star rating. Doesn't matter, get built and get promote and eventually build. Same. Support character mainly can be built into a pretty decent tank. This dude doesn't matter. Doesn't matter yet again. This does not matter either. Suicide Squad, I mean, build them if you got them, but like all 3 of them. Not separately, because they act good as a team, so if you got them anyway, you might as well build them, but don't go out of your way to get them. Doesn't matter. Yeah, A lot of things don't really matter, and by all means you can build all those characters here, but for raids and soul raids they are not gonna do much. So for entertainment purposes, you can get them. Okay, so this dude, get him and eventually build him. Good combo builder. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. And get and promote and maybe eventually build for the passive, and she's gonna act like a decent combo builder. And doesn't matter. Okay, so look, let me go again in this list because there's some stuff that you can build from here if you want and might give you a slight edge in some scenarios. Now, I think it was just Green Arrow, and this dude is good for, very good as tank for E9CA, so you can eventually build him if you want to. But yeah, I regard everything that's in this tier over here to be mainly stuff that's gonna be built for entertainment purposes, and building it will not give you too much of an edge in any game modes. Those are characters that are decent. A lot of them in Arena and Champions or not in Raids and Soul Raids. You shouldn't actively pursue them, but if you get them, you can eventually build them, but not as a priority. Those guys, get them if you can, but don't go out of your way to get them until you're sorted out with what you have here. Those characters, get them as soon as possible also, but you're not in a rush to max them out. Those things on the top tier should be maxed out as soon as possible, and those things should be maxed out as soon as possible as well, but those on the top tier should also be built. So yeah, I hope you found this useful. I tried to be as quick as possible and not bore you too much with this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!